A big thanks to Squarespace for sponsoring this week's video.
So in this video, I visit two locations, one a woodland, this one that I know incredibly well, and I've been here probably about 100 times with pebbles, and the other 4 or 5 are in Worcestershire, where I try and scout some new locations because I'm down there having my van heater fixed. And I talk about some of the things that I do and some of the benefits of going to a new area and some of the benefits of coming back to an area like this. And I'm lucky enough to have the most amazing fog both days. Well, morning everybody, and fantastic to see you all again. Now, somebody said in my last video that, how can I see you? Why do I say fantastic to see you all again? Well, in my little world, I can see your faces watching me, and it's quite lonely out here in the woods, so I like to think that. Anyway, I am in Worcestershire. I've never been here before. And I am here because my van is getting a diesel heater fitted so that I can stay warm in the winter, and I don't have to keep the main engine on. It's a much more efficient way of keeping the van warm. And what I thought I'd do is do a vlog whilst I'm down here. I'm here for 2 days, and so what I thought is, because it's a new area, I don't often photograph new areas, then I would check out the woodlands around here. It looks like there might be some fog tomorrow. There was some fog this morning, but I was a bit late for it. So today is all about scouting and checking out the woodland around the area and see if I can find some amazing locations, and then go back to them tomorrow morning and see what I can get. So I'm going to scout out 3, maybe 4 if I've got time, woods. I'm going to hike around them and see what I can find. And then tomorrow, which is going to be the main part of the vlog, I'm going to hope for fog and see what we can get. And I'll talk a little bit more about new locations and how I go about trying to get the most out of a new location when I get there. Because I realise that not everyone has a lot of time. They might only have 2 or 3 days in a location. So what I find really useful is to spend a day scouting where you're not really worrying too much about photography, and then a day doing photography. But obviously that depends on the conditions a little bit. Anyway, I'm by this babbling brook behind me. I've got this amazing tree here which looks really, really spectacular, and it's a beautiful day. Actually, whilst I'm here, it's probably useful to say that if you've got a tree like this and the sun, it's best if it's sunny in woodland, which is really difficult to shoot, but try and shoot into the sun, because then you reduce a lot of the shadows on the tree. So if I just show you this tree shot with my phone from where you're looking now and with the sun behind you, you'll see there's a really big difference, and this shot that you're looking at now is so much better. So if you find yourself in a new location and you've got a few days to spare, then even if you've got an hour when you first arrive there, it's a good idea just to go and check out and scout some places before you go when the conditions are optimal, or when you've got more time to actually go and photograph it. You know, what I found just quickly, I'm probably going to spend 30 minutes in this wood, is that, you know, the light, I can see that the light's going to come from this direction in the morning, so it's probably not going to be optimal for what I want. If there is any light, it's quite high up as well, so I don't think it's going to get any fog. But because I'm not that familiar with the area, what I've noticed is that there's no hoarfrost around here at all, whereas lower down where the fog was this morning, a lot of the things are covered in ice, so I suspect there's been no fog here, so it's unlikely to get fog tomorrow. And also the woodland here, although there's some nice trees like this one behind me, mostly it's really complicated and there's just too many small trees. So I found out quite a lot, and I can sort of discount this from tomorrow and go on to my next one. And what that means is that you're less likely to make mistakes. You know, you're more likely to have success in that short period of time that you might have to photograph. Rather than trying to photograph 2 or 3 places, just try and photograph one place and scout out 2 or 3 places. Anyway, it's still a lovely evening, but I think that's about it for here. I'm not going to shoot here, so I'm going to walk back to the car and then maybe go and check out some more woodlands. But it looks like I found one, which hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll get some fog and I'll show you in the morning. So, it's the next morning now, and as you can see, I got lucky and got some fog, but this is not even any of the 4 places that I scouted, because I went to the first one, which was going to be the best, and that didn't have any fog. So the fog's actually slightly higher this morning. I mean, it's really unusual because it's gone from -4 yesterday morning to 8 degrees C, so the temperature's changed quite drastically. And I found this sort of beech woodland, and there's a tree like this, magnificent one here. There's quite a few like this. So I parked about half a mile away. I've had a little bit of a scout. It looks like I should be able to get something, so I'm hoping that I do get something here. But all that effort that I went to yesterday didn't quite pay off. However, what it did mean is because I'd studied the map so much, I pretty much knew where every woodland was in Worcestershire, and this was one that I was going to scout next, actually. So I think it looks pretty good. I probably need to get on because I'm sure the fog will go fairly quickly. So I've just walked into this area here, which is a flat area, and it's just so stunning. There's so many shots, but I want to make sure I get a good one, so I'm really taking my time now. It doesn't look like the mist is going with the wind, which is good, but it could change at any time. So I noticed this sort of youth of the wood here, this sort of, I don't know, 2-year-old tree, something like that, amongst all the sort of bigger trees, and it just looked like they're all looking after it, and I thought that was really nice. So I've tried to line something up with that as sort of the secondary focus point. The problem is this tree here, which I'm just not sure about. Now, it might work, but this tree here sort of stands in the way. Now, I pointed it out to you, everyone will notice it, but can you see there's a branch that just goes off to the right-hand side there? And I'm not sure about that, but this looks good. So one of the things in woodland photography that's really important is small movements in your camera. There's actually a really good video by Simon Baxter, I'll link it up here. He got a new geared head, which was pretty expensive and probably out of the reach of most people, but I could see why he got that, because the small movements and just being particular about those small movements makes a really big difference, because sometimes just a branch moved left or right can really help that composition. So you've really got to think about that when you're composing it, and really spend more time than usual looking through your viewfinder or looking at your screen and just looking at the edges, looking at where branches cross over. Because I guarantee you, when you get them back in Lightroom, as I've said so many times before, you will definitely notice these things. So one of the reasons that I don't like setting up with a tripod when you first get there, and I think that although tripods are amazing and all these shots I've taken are with tripods, when you get to a scene, you've got to avoid just getting your tripod out, setting it up, because you'll tend to stay within a certain confinements of that tripod. So in this shot here, so basically I was here, but this branch here just didn't quite look right, but moving it on a tripod didn't make a huge difference. But if I went low and down here like this, you can see that then I could separate those branches a little bit better. And I probably wouldn't have tried that if I'd have just set my tripod up, because I probably wouldn't have looked down here. But just by having your camera and moving it around before you set your tripod up is a great idea and really helps getting better shots. The fog's just staying. It's amazing. This is fantastic. What an amazing morning. So there seems to be more oak trees in this area of the woodland, which I absolutely love. There's something about the characters and the branches of an oak tree which just are got so much emotion to them, and obviously these things have lived for often hundreds and hundreds of years. But in this case, this old chap here is a tricky one to get a composition, because you can see there's a lot going on. There's some sort of little bit bushes to the side there, and then there's this branch here which is quite important to the composition, because I feel it just sort of balances it. It's almost like its arms, if you don't want to chop it off at an elbow or something. So the problem I've got is that this branch and the tree in the background, I've got to go a little bit higher than what I am now, because you can see that it's sort of going over that nice tree in the background, and I just want it to be a bit higher so it just follows the track of the ground, really. But this is amazing. I don't care if I get a good photo, to be honest, because I've just had such an amazing time. And photography is about that. It's not all about getting the amazing photos. Don't get me wrong. If I don't get some good photos, I'll be slightly disappointed. But now, staying in the moment, I'm enjoying this. I'm just enjoying it so much. Oh, it's just brilliant. Wow. It doesn't get any better than this. So whereas oak trees look old and gnarly and just have loads of character, I think beech trees just have the most beautiful sort of soft shapes. You can see all the curving shapes in the background. And I found this quite old beech tree here with some nice green roots. I've been moving probably for the last 45 minutes just trying to get the right composition. I think I've got it. So I think it looks best on the right hand side with this set of beech trees in the background. I'm a little bit worried about this bit of foreground here, and also you can see there's a lot of branches here, and I've been trying so hard just to get the right position and just to get those right, but it looks amazing. So I've taken it on my Z6, and I'm also going to take it on my Z7 as well, just in case I want to print it super big, which I probably will, considering I've got a big printer. This is cool. Okay, it's the next day now, and I'm out in my local woodland, and it's still foggy. It's been foggy for 36 hours, and I'm here with Pebbles, who I'll show you in a minute, because she's super muddy. This is one of the most stunning forests when there's mist, and I've just been dreaming of getting mist here, and I think I'm probably going to be here all day if the mist stays, because it's just so stunning. I found another shot here. It's really quite complicated, but I just love the roots, and I'll show you them in a minute. They just look amazing just behind me here. And so what I'm trying to do is just organise everything. So I've just got this silver birch on the left hand side sticking out, and then it's whether I include the beech tree on the right hand side or not. So I'm going to take two, and I'm always thinking about the final crop. Now I don't go to particular aspect ratios, but I also always think about how I'm going to crop it when I take the photo, because sometimes there can be a distracting area at the top that maybe thinks, oh, I'll recompose it, but actually you know you're going to cut that off. So yeah, it looks good, super simple. ISO 64, no wind, it's about a second long exposure on f10, and I'm just focusing on this tree here. It's pretty good, isn't it, Pebs? What do you think? Not a lot. What an amazing few days. I'm back in my studio now, and I wanted to tell you about a few things. First of all, this print. So you saw right at the beginning of the video that I was in this location. This was a tree in my favourite woodland that I'd wanted to take for so long, and it's just come out exactly how I wanted it. It took a little bit of just tweaking. I had a few different options around it, but it just worked really well. And what I tried to do was line up this branch to the actual line of the ground there as well, and then just try and work out the best combination of this really complicated set of branches up here. And I think it works. I think it works really well. It's got some depth to it as well. We've still got some of the beech leaves on, which look amazing, so I'm really pleased with that. And yeah, it just works so well. So I'm really excited to say that I've now put this on my website as the first of some limited edition larger prints. So this print is around about 80 centimeters long, and it's available on my website. Now it's going to be limited to 3 prints, so there's only going to be 3 editions of these, and I've done that with Squarespace, who are sponsoring this video. So Squarespace have allowed me really easily to just upload this. I spoke about it last week. I've now got it on there, and they're a fantastic platform to be able to build your photography website, whether you just want to build a portfolio, or if you want to actually do what I do, which is sell my prints and my workshops through it as well. It makes it super simple. And you can go to squarespace.com for a free trial of your website, and then if you're ready to purchase it, then make sure you use offer code Nigel at checkout for 10% off. And then the other thing is that my favourite image of all time, which I showed briefly in last week, which is this one here. Just pull it out. So this is now going to be available on that limited edition as well. So at this size, I'm only going to produce 3 images, and actually it's nearly run out of its limited editions at the other sizes as well. It's my most popular print. It's probably my favourite image of all time of Iceland, and yeah, it looks pretty spectacular. The other thing wanted to mention quickly is Twitter. So I'm quite active on Twitter, and it's a good place to go if you want to ask me questions. I usually respond to questions on Twitter fairly quickly because I'm looking at it all the time and having conversations with other photographers. So I'll put a link to Twitter here and a link in the description. Come and follow me. It'd be great to catch up and just have a chat. So that's it. So back to me in the woods where I took that photo. So to summarise, so after shooting for the last 2 days, down in Worcestershire, which was awesome, and then this woodland, which I know really well, and coming back to the spots like this tree here, and photographing the areas that I know really well, I feel that my photos from here are definitely better. But I feel that the enjoyment was more in discovering Worcestershire and the woodlands in Worcestershire, because although I'm really happy I've got the conditions here and I've come back and I've got some of the photos that I've been trying to get for the last couple of years, and these will definitely be the best photos. The experience of going somewhere new was just amazing. I really enjoyed it, and it just shows that you need to try new areas out, and I know that when I go back to that woodland in Worcestershire, if I'm ever there, then I'll definitely get something good. But yeah, this has just been amazing. Anyway, thanks ever so much for watching. Until next Sunday, bye.